Are you struggling to heal your body no matter what you do? Are you losing hope, giving up, and fearing this is just your life? Well, today I'm going to be sharing the most important thing that you need to do to heal your body from chronic illness above anything else. And it's not another supplement or a regimented diet. I'm going to share why this is the most important piece and how you can do this one thing starting today to start to see powerful shifts in your body. This can actually happen very quickly, and it often does with my clients with just a few days of working on this piece. I'm going to be sharing the exact strategy to follow at the end so you don't want to miss it. Welcome or welcome back to our channel. I'm Angela, trauma-informed somatic life coach. If you haven't met me yet, I am Adrenal fatigue warrior, a wife, a mother, and one of the founders of the Adrenal Recovery Collective. We are here to help you get your energy back, balance your hormones, lose that unwanted weight, and address and uncover those hidden issues and do all this in a holistic way so you can get back to feeling normal again and get back to truly living your life, maybe starting that business, maybe traveling the world, having more energy and patience for your children, and so much more. So you may be wondering, what is the most important thing I need to do to heal my body from chronic illness? Well, I'm about to reveal that number one thing and show you how to incorporate it into your life. So let's break it down. Let's start with, what is illness? Illness is a disease or a period of sickness affecting the body or mind. Illness is a result of something, some type of stress or trauma a person has been through, whether it be physical stress or trauma, mental, emotional, or spiritual. So let's break this down. Physical stress or trauma, damage to the body from a car accident, maybe growing up on antibiotics, or surgeries, or poor diet, maybe surgeries later in your life, or genetics. Mental stress or trauma is unwanted, distressing memories of a traumatic event. Could be abuse, neglect, not having the love and attention that you truly deserved growing up, having anxious parents who are always in a hurry. There's a lot of stress or worry in your household that really took away your freedom to be in a calm state. Emotional stress or trauma would be damage or injury to your psyche after living through maybe an extreme, frightening, or distressing event. Or spiritual stress or trauma, and this could look a lot of different ways, whether it was not having the freedom to follow your own knowing and your own path, being forced to believe in something, or a sense of a lack of choice in that, events that threatened your core beliefs, use by a religious or spiritual figure, or being raised on a toxic interpretation of a certain religion or belief. So whether we're dealing with some of those or all of them, when we have any trauma or stress, it's not just a one-time event. We know that, right? It sticks with us. It gets filed in our brain, and we remember sometimes pictures, not always, but we often more impactfully is we remember how it felt. And the problem is these traumas, especially these bigger traumas in our formative years, when we are sponges, right? We are soaking up everything, which is helpful if for learning, right, and growing. But for these types of traumas, they continue to affect us for years and years and decades. And without many of us getting the support that we truly need to get through them, giving the tools, being able to process, right? So we are replaying these traumas or this stress over and over each day. And we know that long-term impact of stress, the stress hormones, down-regulate our genes and creates disease. This is science, okay? So over time, the long-term effect of stress hormones down-regulate genes and create disease, okay? And so we know it's not just about our genes that we were given. It's really about also our experiences and what genes are getting expressed or turned on or off. And this is epigenetics. Epigenetics, if you haven't heard it before, is the study of how our behaviors, our environment, our experiences that happen to us can cause changes and affect the way our genes are expressed or which ones are turned on and off. And so we know this idea of that genes, our DNA, are solely at play is now disproven. It's not just nature or nurture, it's both. And, that's why one person, this stuff fascinates me, that one person in a family might, and with similar genetics, might be dealing with health issues their entire life, while, their family members are pretty healthy and have been, right? We have to remember there are viruses and bacterias all around us. Every day we have an opportunity to encounter them, right? But why are some people more susceptible than others? And why are some more resilient? Obviously, there are many factors and variants involved, but we just have to remember it's not just genes, as we once believed it was. It's really about the experiences that can impact the genes. Also, when we're dealing with that stress day in and day out, we are training our minds and bodies to be reactive, to be in alert mode or emergency mode. Unless, of course, you've been given the right tools and support to change it, right? Again, which many of us have not. This stress hijacks and narrows our focus and ability to move forward. Oftentimes, because we are still in this, we are often in fear mode. And fear is a very strong emotion. And it really affects what we think and how we feel, how we react, what we choose, how we behave, right? And why are so many of us so tired? It's truly an epidemic, right? Well, we are using all of our energy to react to the outside world and protect ourselves. So, because we often don't feel safe, right? And that's often from our experiences or our traumas. We're trying to keep ourselves safe, and so we are reacting from that trauma. Not to mention this stress, it hijacks our energy. The stress that we're constantly putting our body through day in and day out, of how many thoughts you have. I mean, we're thinking about 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. And if many of those thoughts are on program and based on traumas that we haven't dealt with, whether they were in our formative years or not, or later on in our life, that we have not processed or gotten the type of support that we need, it hijacks our energy. So we don't have energy for other things to repair, right? For all those other systems of the body aren't getting the energy they need to function properly, like digestion, immunity to fight disease, our metabolic system, so we can't lose weight, our reproductive system, so many of us aren't able to get pregnant when we want to, right? Other factors involved, but you think about this, how this can affect so much of the body, and why we often see a myriad of symptoms, right? Especially in the world of adrenal fatigue. Because our bodies have bigger fish to fry. They are just trying to survive. And again, you can see how all of this could be like the perfect storm situation, and why so many of us are experiencing this chronic illness and disease. And Joe Dispenza says it well when he says that it's the emotion that selects and instructs the genes that create disease. So that's why I'm getting to the big one thing that we need to do to heal our bodies. The number one thing that we need to do to heal our bodies is to change our minds. Yes. And why is this? Because there's a loop here. What we think affects how we feel. The emotions, right? The feelings. Those feelings affect what we choose, how we behave. And then we have different thoughts based on how we behave, and the cycle continues. And we're running a program. And our brains like to stay comfortable and to kind of go through these pathways. They like the comfortability of the normal and the status quo. So that's why this work can be challenging to shift. Ultimately, we need to run a new program. from being on this high alert and safety mode of I'm not trusting and not feeling safe in the world, or having those emotions that haven't been dealt with, to running a new program of trust, peace, allowing us to get away from and out of the constant sympathetic nervous system and firing to the parasympathetic so we can repair and heal. When you tap into the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest state, that's the opposite of the sympathetic, right? Which is the fight, flee, and freeze mode. When you can tap into that parasympathetic, you can finally digest properly, right? Your body can metabolize properly. You can detox properly. Your immune system can start working properly. So those white blood cells start to fight off infection again, as they're meant to do, making you more resilient out in the world. And your hormones can more easily come back into balance. So we know we can condition the body. We've conditioned the body to where it is up to this point. So why don't we instead condition the body in a way that works for us, that frees us from disease, helps us fight and be more resilient to disease or infection, and one that creates more ease in our bodies, more freedom, more peace? So let's talk about how to get there, shall we? But first, has this information been helpful so far? If so, please consider just clicking that like button. That really helps our small business and our channel grow, to spread this information out to more people who are suffering, struggling, and also consider subscribing if you want to, so you can get notified whenever we release a new video. So the number one thing that we must do to heal from chronic illness and disease is changing our minds. And often that's our inner story. That creates a different experience in our body. We are creating new pathways in the brain. You are experiencing new emotions that are of a higher frequency. These higher frequencies are things like joy, doing things again that make you joyful. And that is much easier said than done. Gratitude, having gratitude for what you have. And this was me too, getting out of victim mode and thinking, why me? This is because of this person, or this thing happened to me. How can you focus your attention more on gratitude? And you do want to recognize what's happened to you. And I'll talk about that in a minute. We want to address the trauma, no doubt, but also how can we be grateful for all the things that are going well in our lives? Another thing that creates a higher frequency is freedom, feeling free. So whatever that is to you, feeling peace and feeling trusting in the universe, trusting in the powers that be, trusting yourself and your body and its innate ability to heal. Trust is such a beautiful emotion. These emotions, these new emotions signal a new gene, regulates the new gene to produce better proteins, which there is research on, shows that that's when healing can occur, and actually occur very quickly. Okay, so I want to introduce 5 things on how you can do this starting today, okay? The first one, you have to truly want to change, because this is going to require you changing a bit of who you are. And I know that sounds really scary, but Joe Dispenza says, like, changing your personality. And remember, when we say change our personality, that means how we think, how we feel, how we behave, what we choose. So you have to do the inner work. You have to be willing to change parts of yourselves based on those things. You have to start being honest with yourself, being more aware of your thoughts, and want to be able to change them. Are you going into blaming mode, victim mode? Again, no shame there. We all do it. But it takes noticing when you're going into victim mode. You're shifting that, getting out of that frame of mind, which leads us to number 2. And number 2 is to help you get out of the victim mode, is to work through the trauma, to work with a therapist or a somatic trauma-informed life coach like myself. And it doesn't have to take years of talk therapy for this to change. With strategies I use, it can happen very, very quickly. My clients are always amazed at how quickly this actually is. And it's way less scary than they ever thought it would be to address some of these, what I'd say the traumas or even some of the demons, right? And be freed from them. So working through the trauma is important. We do not want to deny that they're there. We do not want to push them away. It's not about just thinking Pollyanna and positive thoughts all the time. We have to address the trauma. And I am in full support of that. And step 3 is becoming the energy of health. Stepping into the energy of that person, yourself, when you are healed, when you have optimal health and vibrant energy. And how do you do that? It's about visualization, some form of meditation, whatever that looks like for you. It doesn't have to look like a traditional meditation sitting in a cross-legged pose on the floor for hours a day. But visualizing yourself every day in a state of where you desire to be and connect. This is what people miss all the time, is connect with the feeling. It's about teaching your body to feel how it feels to be healed. And again, this often involves meditation or some sort of practice, and it needs to happen daily, because how often are we having these other feelings and running this other program, right? It's not like, I tried it once or twice or for a week or even for a month. It's a constant every day. So in the Fatigue to Fabulous monthly membership program, we guide you through this vision process. I also have created an entire meditation album to support you with this. So you can learn more about the monthly membership. We'll have a link below. And I'll also include a link to my meditation album where there's 10 meditation tracks to help you start to change your mind. So exactly what we're talking about here. Now, and step 4 is being more aware of the words that come out of our mouth, or even the words inside of our head, that story. And also to be talking to yourself in an encouraging, kind way, to build yourself up and to talk to yourself as if the things that you want are already there. Yes, I have vibrant energy. It's so fun to wake up and feel alive. It's so fun to wake up and feel rested. And I get out of bed, I step on the floor, and I am like feeling strong and confident. I'm ready for the day. I am so excited that I have the energy to travel, to see my kids or my grandkids. I love that I have the energy to do all the things I want to do, but also I have the freedom to rest and relax, and I'm better at relaxing now, right? Change how you speak. And catch yourself when you start going into victim mode, or you start being focused on a distraction. And distractions are things like fear, blame, shame, all of those lower vibration emotions. You can recognize them, acknowledge them. I fully am support of acknowledging, say them out loud. I'm feeling frustrated, I'm feeling anxious, because that's when we can actually, when we acknowledge them, they want to be acknowledged, like any child, right? Any person in the world wants to be acknowledged. Our feelings, they want to be acknowledged, and then we can move through them. So what are your words? Being more impeccable with your word, one of the 4 agreements, if you've ever read that. And last but not least is a little exercise called the thymus thump. So the thymus gland is really important in making white blood cells, which is part of our immune system, and they help us fight infection. And this gland often slows down around puberty or at age 13, and it's also the fountain of youth. And so it's a really important gland. And not only that, it also is known to be the happiness point. So it really helps with neutralizing negative energy and helping you feel calm. And again, boosting that immune system. So it's a really beautiful exercise also for opening up the heart. So all the things we've talked about today, it kind of wraps it all up in one. And it's a really powerful exercise. So I have a whole YouTube video on this, so you can definitely check that out on the Adrenal Fatigue TV channel. And one last thing is, let's just make it step number 6, is to do things that bring you joy. Because when we have joy, that is a powerful emotion that is going to upregulate those genes and support healing as well. So doing things that make you joyful again, which again is easier said than done for many of us. So in summer, we are walking, we are talking, we are feeling, and we are being the energy of that person who already has amazing health, confidence, peace in their world, and calm. And that's how we heal our bodies from chronic illness. I hope this was helpful and gave you some great next steps, some inspiration, some motivation. If you have questions, any whatsoever, please put them in the comments. As you know, as you can see, we answer all of our messages. So if you're struggling with how to do all this on your own and you want a straightforward and proven plan for recovery with coaches by your side, an amazing supportive community to connect with when you need inspiration, motivation, and ear to listen, we want you to know about our monthly recovery membership program, Fatigue to Fabulous. And that's a complete A to Z holistic recovery course, plus unlimited coaching inside our private Facebook group. We have monthly calls with the founders, Danielle and myself. We have special guests, our integrative doctors that come on and answer questions, have Q&A sessions with us. There are functional and naturopathic and functional medicine practitioners. We have our gut program inside there and so much more. So check out in the description below. There's no better time than now to join, to make this year the year that you get your energy and your life back. And if you made it this far and you found this video helpful, please give us a thumbs up. It really helps us out, and consider subscribing. Also, we are always creating new videos with recovery tricks and tips to help you on your recovery journey. And when you subscribe, you're the first to know when we release a new video. So thanks for being here. Bye for now.